the theory that Sans might not be a skeleton. The reason I think this theory is viable is that it seems suspicious. Toby Fox has really gone out of his way to make sure that we never see any skeleton like thing about Sans except his face. So, in the fan art of Sans, we always see him depicted with bones for his body and stuff. But if you notice, that never happens in canon art of Sans. It doesn't happen on any of his sprites within the games. So here's the thing. We always see Sans's face, right? And he's always smiling and he doesn't really move his mouth. He moves his eyes and he can blink, but he never moves anything else about his face, including never moves his mouth. So that makes me think that maybe what he has is like a mask. Not just a straight up mask, but like a helmet. So he has this helmet that has holes for the eyes and then actually goes back. And then the part that we see on the bottom, like in the back, when you see him from the back and he has like this, you can see it in his like overworld sprite. There's this little hook that goes down, and we assume that's his spinal column. This might actually just be his neck coming out of this helmet. Whenever we see his hands, he's always got mittens on. It's not even gloves, man. It's just straight up mittens. And he's always shown with mittens. And the only times he's not is in fan art that is not canon. Another thing is his shorts, right? It's interesting because Sans wears these shorts that have these like they're black shorts with these white sports stripes, but usually on sports jersey stuff the stripes are typically on the sides. So if this was a typical sports jersey, we would see it having a thin stripe right on the side, but instead Sans's shorts have a very thick stripe right down the front on both sides. And this kind of lends itself to making him look more skeletal, but those are clearly stripes on his shorts. That's not really his legs, those are stripes. The other thing is, in the canon game, Sans is wearing socks with his house slippers, right? And it goes to the extent that there's that whole bit with pick up your socks, Sans. We see Sans's socks as objects in the world, but also he's always wearing socks. And you'll notice that in the games, his socks are always pulled completely up underneath his shorts. And it does appear that the shorts are going below knee length. His knee would probably be somewhere around there, and then his hips are around here. Ankle is here. So these are nice long shorts, but to consistently have your socks pulled up that high, especially his character is known for being lazy, sloppy. He's wearing house shoes. He wears those even when he goes out to this fancy ass resort, like the MTT resort. He's in his fucking house shoes in the snow. He's a sloppy character, and if I was doing a character design where I wanted the character to look sloppy and they were wearing socks with house shoes in the snow, which is, yeah, that's pretty lazy, I would definitely make a slouchy sock where you would see the bone and then this like sock that he can't bother to pull up, and he also can't bother to fold over into a neat cuff. Like he wouldn't roll it down like that. He's just got this little slouch thing. But that is never what we see in the game. In fan art, yes, we see this depicted, and it's cute and it's adorable. I love it. I am not bagging on fan art. But in the game, he always has his socks pulled up, covering his entire leg. And you'll notice this in the Smash Brothers promotional art, even when you have up shots where we should be like seeing up his shorts a little bit. But then even when we're looking up into his shorts like this, you don't even see like the rim of his sock and then the bones underneath it. Instead, we're just seeing all the way. The socks are pulled all the way up. This is almost getting into like Scottish kilt level socks. Like these are long socks and they stay up. And even when he's like fighting and everything, not that clothing has to be responsive in video games, but it seems to me that they're really going out of their way to be like, you will not see Sans's body underneath any of his clothes. The other thing is that in fan art, Sans's body is depicted in a variety of like shapes and sizes and stuff. But like in the game, Sans, he almost looks chubby. Like he's just this stout little guy. He's got this like almost as wide as he is tall, but he doesn't look like some lanky skeleton. He wears these like, baggy clothes. So it he has a lot of substance to his body, right? And even like in the back of his sprite, got like his little booty and his little jacket with his hoodie. Like the kid's got some substance to him. And you could say his jacket's kind of puffy or whatever, and that might be the case. But here's another take you could do on Sans, right? Like even if he had baggy clothes, you would expect it to be more like really loose and like sharper around stuff. Like his pants, his shorts, even if they're baggy, they would just hang down. It would be a lot more like that. But we don't really see that. Again, I'm not trying to bag on fan art that likes to give Sans a more slender look. That's totally fine. But when we see his battle sprite or even his overworld sprite, he just gives off this very stout appearance, which is adorable, but it makes you wonder what's going on under there. He's not really seeming like just this completely empty skeleton under there. And like with this little neck being the closest thing we see to what might be under this helmet mask, if that was the case, like Frisk's neck isn't very thick either. So it's not like this is too thin to be a human neck or any other kind of neck that's not a skeleton neck. Sans might not really be a skeleton, or might at least be hiding how he looks. So in Sans's overworld sprite, you've got his jacket, and there are these details in the overworld sprite that look like little lines coming out of his jacket. And when I first played through the game, I totally thought these lines are his ribs. But when we see his battle sprite, where it's a higher resolution, you've got a larger image with a lot more detail, and then suddenly, when we have all the opportunity, what do we have? It's just white. There's no ribs there. So it almost makes me wonder if this is more just like wrinkles in his shirt or just like details. I got to admit, it does feel like a stretch, and I wouldn't make this argument if it weren't for all of the other suspicious details about his character. And generally speaking, the battle sprites do provide more detail on a character than their overworld sprites, just because they are so much larger and they have so much more opportunity to show those details. I really think that if Sans's bones are not shown on the battle sprite, then we should maybe not assume that his overworld sprite is showing the bones. It also doesn't seem like there's reason to assume that he has changed his outfit, because if I'm recalling correctly, I believe everything else about his outfit is identical between the overworld and the battle sprite. So, very interesting. You guys maybe let me know what you think. As far as I know, there is no canon image that doesn't follow these four items. So, if this is the case, why would these four things permanently be a part of every canon image across every game in every scene? It doesn't that seem a little suspicious, you know? Now, I want to make an important note about merch. So, on Fangamer, there is merch that shows Sans with like fully visible bones. Like he definitely has the leg with the socks, and you can see his bones there, the leg bones. But on Twitter or X, Toby Fox did make a post that said merch is not canon, with the exception of one image of Burger Pants. But I think it is very interesting that he also made that point. Why would he go out of his way if that wasn't important? Anyway, please let me know if there is any canon representation of Sans that does not have one of these 4 points. And yeah, let me know what you think if you like. So I just want to say I like you and I subscribe to our collective future. Thank you for being part of this community, and I hope you have a wonderful day.